Jules, thank you so much for being here. First
Pleasure.
of all,
Thanks for having me.
usually I have a whole introduction of subscribe to my fucking YouTube channel and all of that shit, but today I'm not. You
I've
know,
been following your YouTube channel. It's really cool.
Is it?
Nice work.
Thank
man.
you so much.
Really
I
nice
really
work.
appreciate it. You know,
We need more stuff like that in this country.
coming from you,
Yeah.
it sounds amazing. 25 years in the industry.
No, 35.
35.
1986 I started.
No ways.
Yep. Managed my first band in 1986 in Matric.
In matric.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get into that.
No,
So
you don't
35 years in the industry.
Is that 35? I don't know.
We have to get the
problem
numbers
is
right.
It still feels like I've just started.
And you still look, you know, the haircut is like, you know, youth.
I actually had it done for today. You know that. I went this morning, 8:30, and I got my hair done just for you.
Jeez. And not only I feel honored, now I just feel like you are overshining me.
No,
Because
never,
you're looking proper.
You know what? The thing is, and like you say, at 25, 35 years, I feel like every day is my first day in this industry.
I know this question is gonna come out some type of way, but I need to. If you say 35 years, that's my age, by the way, 36. So, how old are we now?
55 this year, I think. 54 or 55. Yeah, 55, I think. Born 1968. Oh,
So, do you
old.
believe that nobody can actually tell you about the industry that we're about to discuss? And-
Absolutely no way in this world do I believe that, because I believe I learn every single day. And if you stop learning, get out.
Every single day. I love that.
Every day. If you stop learning, get out of the industry you're in, because you can never know enough. It's impossible.
Okay.
I learn from young people, old people. I learn from everybody. And you've got to keep learning. Yes, I also help to teach, but if you don't keep learning, you'll never grow.
For someone who's watching, they don't know what you do, they don't know where you're from.
No.
They don't understand what the podcast is going to be all about today. Do you want to just break down before we dive into
What do I do?
Exactly, I love that.
It's a question.
Yeah, let's just dive into when you first started, briefly where you from, just the history about you.
Joburg, born and bred.
Yeah.
Born and bred in Joburg. Also lived half my life down in Grahamstown in the Eastern Cape. So I'm a South African through and through. This is my parents. My family's from Europe. My father's from Germany. My mom's South African. So I'm a born and bred South African. I love this place. I love this country. I love this continent. This is my home. This is what I do. I'm born into the entertainment industry. My godfather, this is going back a long time, is a guy by the name of Cedric Sampson, who used to host a TV show called Pop Shop back in the 80s.
Pop Shop.
Back in the 80s. He was a drummer for a band called Morocco. Probably one of the most gifted drummers this country's ever had. Grammy Award winning. He's performed with Jean-Michel Jarre. He's written for Hugh Masekela. He... you name it, he's worked with them as far as a musician. So my mom was a model. So I kind of grew up in entertainment. Growing up in Hillbrow was pretty much for my early days.
When it was still clean and proper.
Growing up,
when growing up in Hillbrow was...
It was Hillbrow, Yeovil. And I suppose if you look back at the 80s, Hillbrow and Yeovil were the bubbling under of the new South Africa back then. You know, I didn't really understand this thing called apartheid growing up. I really didn't.
You didn't see it, or you didn't
No, I
understand
didn't see it. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was until later in life when I started seeing these things happening. First thing I ever heard was the Soweto riots. And I was like, why? What's going on? I didn't understand what was going on in our country. So I it threw me when I saw what the real state of this country was. But being in the entertainment industry, everything was so integrated. Even back in the 80s, and even, people were going to clubs in Soweto and things like that, and coming into Hillbrow, and things were happening. It was a very different kind of scene compared to what we perceived on the outside. So it was quite an interesting thing, because I very much grew up multicultural, as in a South Africa that was in this apartheid, but only when it was at school that I actually realized, because where's everybody?
Oh, okay. So when you realized, how, like you say, you didn't realize there was apartheid.
I didn't realize there was this word apartheid. Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on. I just thought
At what age did you?
Growing up young, I grew up a lot on a farm. My grandparents,
that
it was
makes
kind of
sense.
like this was just the norm.
Yes.
You didn't really get it. And then again, being in the entertainment, and my mom's friends was everybody. She was a model. She designed clothes. She was designing clothes for a band called Clout in the late 70s, Cindy Alta. I don't know if you remember Clout. I'll be your substitute. Remember this song?
Never there.
Anyway, so probably, if I had to tell you the biggest selling South African song of all time, that was it. Substitute by Clout.
Jeez.
Yeah. And my mom was dressing.
Of all time?
Of
Still
all time.
now?
Yeah, of all time.
Still now?
I think it's 17 million copies were sold.
Jeez.
Yeah. No, biggest song.
I'm
of all time.
gonna take your word for it. If
No,
Nota was here,
go
he
and
would
check it out.
probably
Go and check it
say
out.
something like,
No, Google it. Get one of the boys. Guys, Google it. Biggest selling South African song of all time.
you say something like Gutu or some stuff. Do you know Gutu?
Clout? Yeah, no.
So that one is nothing.
No,
compared to this
listen,
one.
you must remember this is back in the days when singles were sold.
But till today,
Yeah, 17 million.
phew,
And listen, I've all the people.
I'm gonna believe you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
believe
so
you.
kind of like I grew up in this entertainment industry. This was my life. This is what I know. It's kind of, and it's what I've always done. So it's kind of like I'm a singer-songwriter as well in my own capacity. I love to write songs. I love to sing. I love to work with artists. But kind of like you ask, where am I from? I'm from everywhere.
I love that. So being in the entertainment industry, so there's a lot of experience that you actually have that I need someone watching this for us to get in like straight to it.
Yeah.
Right? The blueprint, right? And I love the fact that you have so many years in this industry so that we can fluff out the bullshit.
Yeah.
How lucrative is the business right now?
Okay, so you got to understand. I come from very different facets of the
Give it to
entertainment
us.
industry. It's not just the music industry.
Okay.
It's the entertainment industry. It's video production. It's live streaming. To give you an idea, I've probably done over 10,000 live streams in my lifetime.
10,000.
Yeah, quite easy. I did the very first live stream ever in this country at the South African Music Awards in 2007. It was probably the first. Some
So-
people might say I wasn't, but we did a live stream backstage at the Summers to 3 people, I think it was. And then in the peak of our partnership with MTN at the Summers, I think we live streamed to 2.5 million.
How does live streaming work? For someone who's watching this, they don't understand. Yeah, we're talking about live streaming. What is live streaming? How does it work? And how do you monetize on that?
Well, take it back to its basics. What is live streaming? Radio is live streaming. It's taking a broadcast, an audio file, and broadcasting it live to an audience. Essentially, that's what live streaming is. You're taking a video, this production, putting it out on the internet or on a production bandwidth, whatever it may be, whether it be television, radio, online, you name it, AI, whatever the heck we're doing these days. And it's literally taking that and it's putting something out online or in some kind of broadcastable form.
And
That's live streaming.
100%. So how do you make money from that?
It's a tough one. Listen, I've been doing this close on 15, 20 years in terms of live streaming.
Live streaming. You know, I've learned about live streaming. 20 years.
So listen, everybody caught on to live streaming with COVID. All of a sudden, you had 1,000,001 live streaming production companies. I'm like looking at these guys going, guys, I've been doing this for the last 15 years. Now all of a sudden, you're like live streaming gurus.
And they have courses.
Yeah, there's like everybody's now a live streamer. And I mean, you can ask a very good friend of mine.
Oh, yes,
look at
this
that.
is what
These
we
people
want.
know me well.
This is
Slim
what
knows me well.
This is what we want.
Is like John Savage, who I've worked with for many, many years. We always talk about the live streaming and podcasting and everything like this. All of a sudden, there was 1,000,001 people doing this in lockdown. And the problem was that one fundamental I'll give anybody that decides they want to get into live streaming. Anybody can do it. Anybody. It's what happens when something goes wrong. Because believe me, technology, and we all know this. Can I swear? Is a motherfucker.
Yes, of course.
It will fuck you. And give it
Up
one
the ass.
opportunity, right up the ass, it'll fuck you. And it takes that one moment is how do you solve the crisis?
Because it's live.
That's what live streaming is. Live streaming is not taking a camera and an internet connection and just doing it. It's what happens when something goes wrong.
What's the worst thing that could go wrong?
internet, the software is a mother. Is that literally OBS or whatever software that you're working with just goes, cheers, sorry for you, MacBook. I'll do an update right now. While you're in the middle of a live stream, your MacBook will decide to reboot. This happens. It's or the internet goes down. Load shedding. What load shedding's done to our mobile networks. All of a sudden, or the fiber goes down, or this goes down. What is your backup plan? How do you solve a crisis? That's what live streaming is about. It's not about these cameras that we're looking into now, or that audio, or this microphone. It's about what happens when something goes wrong. That's live streaming.
I love that you've highlighted what people need to understand about what you're doing, especially when it comes to live streaming. But I want us to get into production.
Yes.
Right? You've owned the production.
Yes, I have a production company with my partner Thabo Rametsi. I don't know if you know Thabo.
No, I don't.
He's an actor. Silverton Siege, Kalushi, the movies on Netflix. Anyway, so Thabo.
I think I can Google. Put him up here, and then we're gonna see who he is.
And Tabiso and Daniela, my partners. We have a production company called Discover TV.
Okay.
Focusing on short form video as well as long form video. We're currently in a Netflix pre-production on a TV series with our sister company in Goodiverse, which Thabo runs as well. We have a production company, live streaming company, audio production. We have a little studio, which I don't know if you know Tiny Desk.
Yes, of course.
I built South Africa's version of Tiny Desk in 4 ways. So we kind of do that. It's, I'm a jack of all trades when it comes to production because I get bored very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like I can't sit around and just do one thing. I need to okay, cool, what's next? I mean, there's an article that everybody in the office always talks about that was done in 1996, I think it was, in the Sunday Times with me. I can't remember the exact year, but they were talking about this thing called the internet.
Yes.
That was about to break and things, and I was working at a studio called Cube Music in Parktown.
Yes, I see it.
We were working with the likes of TKZ back then, and et cetera, and
now
the original Dianvert, which was Wadi,
it's my time now.
the original Evergreens and things like that.
Time now.
Belinda Davids and all these. So we were working with a lot of these bands and stuff like that. And a friend of mine, Greg Gordon, did a story with me in the Sunday Times, talking about this thing called the internet. And I sat there and I said to him, Greg, this thing called the internet is going to change everything. Forget about how we consume music now. You will only consume it on that device, on the internet in the future.
And how many people listen? I was about to say, how many people?
20 years ago, I said the mobile phone launched. I had the second iPhone in this country. A friend of mine actually bought 2 and brought them back. And I got one. Who are you, bro? And I said to him, this device will change everything. This is how we will consume video content in the future. And I sat there and I had just joined Telkom Media. They were just, I used to run a portal called Entertainment Africa with a company called Presence back in the day. And we were way ahead of the game in those days in terms of what like Tex in the City and the guys are doing now. We were doing this like 20 years ago already. And however many years ago, I don't know, I'm getting old. So in terms time I don't understand the concept of time anymore. And we were talking about the fact that we had this thing called an iPhone. And all of a sudden, it wasn't this BlackBerry with numbers. It was a touch screen. And I was like, hang on. And then you watched a video on this. And this was like, no, guys, come on. And I've been saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. Watch, people will consume content on their phones. Video is going to be on your phone. And everybody laughed at me. And what are we doing now? How is most content consumed today?
On the phone.
Mobile phone. I think we've just reached another major watershed with Apple releasing this Vision Pro.
Yeah.
The reason why I think it's watershed is that the one thing that it did is it was totally immersive both ways. You could see me, I could see you, I could see my surroundings and still engage in content. All of a sudden, this whole new OS where you just blinked an eye and you could do things and touched your fingers to be able to do things. Ready Player One's one of my favorite films. I don't know if you've seen it. The Steven Spielberg one about the game war.
Yes.
I love it because it's just we're not far from it.
We're not. I think.
And then I watch something like Vision Pro launch, and I go, guys, this is a watershed moment. Yes, we can't wear these big things around our faces and walk around like this, but it's not far away. Why not? Or it's going to be a little what are those things? Contact lens.
Or you can just put
Just
it
put
in
it
and
in
you
your
can
eye,
just...
in your eye, and then you just blink, and then you can use like switch on by blinking. Okay, let me read my mail.
Would you
And
like
it's
to live in a world like that?
Yes and no.
I was
I
about
think
to say.
it's kind of like, I love it because it's the future. It is. No matter what we do, AI and all of this is coming. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I don't want to, because sometimes I look at social media and things like this, and I go like, social media is not what it was when it started. It was when it began. It was organic. It was real. You could engage with people, and people would follow you. I remember when we built the original Sama Facebook page. It grew beautifully, organically, without us having to spend money. Now, you can't do anything on social media without spending
ads.
money or running an ad. I'm like going, well, it's just television now, essentially. That's all we do. It's television. And then the only way that you're going to get viewed is if you spend money. So where are we then? You know, you talk about live streaming. How are you going to make money out of this? And I'm sitting like going, guys, it's not easy. Listen, I've been doing live streaming. I've launched portals. We've got Discovered TV as a brand. I do a Monday night podcast with a friend of mine in the UK where we have live bands coming on and chatting about their new singles and things like this. Do I get views? Not always, unless I go and spend money. So how do we make money out of this now? It's a tough one. It really is, because I think we've become oversaturated. We're definitely oversaturated from a content perspective. Your content has to be unique. It has to be engaging. You have to tell a story. Otherwise, what's the point? Or have a tequila with it to go. And I love.
By the way, let's have
Let's
one.
do that.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
No, who brought lemon?
You don't want the lemon.
Lemons.
You've been around. I need
lemons
the
for babies.
Like me, I'm a baby.
There we go. Thank you very much. Now we're talking.
Okay. I might not have questions after this. Go on.
John, I'm talking about John. He had he does the one with his whiskey. And if you've watched that podcast, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I really need to see it. What is it called?
What's it called again? What's
your poison?
That's the one.
All right.
That's the one. Absolutely brilliant. Where was I? I lost my train of thought with the tequila. See, it happens. That's what tequila does.
I told you, after this, I have no questions. But you were basically diving into
how to make money out of this.
Monetizing
monetizing content. Listen. I mean, it's something I've been trying to figure out the blueprint for it.
Yes, exactly.
For the last 10 years, how to monetize content in the digital age, and it's not easy. You know, I launched the very first mobile TV channel on MTN back in the day called Pocket TV with my partner Greg. We had a company called Stream. We were the first. We were doing short form video content on mobile through MTN. You could subscribe to this service, and this was how we were going to make money. And we did for a while.
Subscriptions.
Yeah, we did for a while. It definitely was. It was a good way to generate income, and we were sharing the income with content creators that we had on our platform, et cetera, et cetera. But then the revenues died because more and other new alternatives became available. Then everybody wanted to become a content creator in this world, and all of a sudden MTN had 30 channels launched, as opposed to one, where we were the first. So you kind of like, you can be an early trendsetter or whatever the word is you want to use.
But then
for it. Everybody's going to jump on.
I was about to say, before you
and then
continue,
the revenues go.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like being a trendsetter sometimes feels like a curse? Because
absolutely, no doubt about it. The problem is, and when you first, people don't take you seriously.
They laugh at you.
Yeah, or they just think, oh, whatever. He's coming up with
happen.
another one of these. Oh, God, it's another idea. Oh God, how's he going to make money out of it? Because generally speaking, when you are first with something, you don't make money out of it. You really don't. It's the guy who comes third or fourth or fifth that all of a sudden is able to find the right business model for that does make money. So being the first isn't always necessarily the best. But you know, unfortunately, as I said, I get bored. So I'm always constantly thinking, okay, where do we go now? What do we do next? How do we try this? And this is why I love working with the people that I do, like Tabo and stuff like that, because they're so creative. They'll take my idea and they go, okay, Jules, let's think about this. Let's see where we can go with this. You know, technology. I was sitting with Samsung recently at a meeting, and they were showing me the new S23 Ultra.
Yes.
This thing's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
The quality of the camera. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've got my Sony A7S III, and I'm like going,
it's taking it out.
This is a 50,000 Rand camera. Okay, it's a 30,000 Rand phone, but it's in my pocket always.
And you can pop it out anytime.
Pop it out anytime, and then I'm looking at the tech that's behind the camera. And the AI and the AR and this and that's involved in this camera and what you can do with it. And I'm like going, damn, okay, now we're going back. Because, I mean, I was a massive promoter of let's create content for mobile, on mobile, for many, many years. I was like, no, forget these cameras we're sitting with, your Canons and your Sonys and everything. Let's use mobile. Let's do it. Let's shoot content on mobile for mobile. And I did it for a long, long time. But then you realize the quality wasn't what this. And then I went and invested. And listen, video production is not a cheap investment. Yes, you can shoot something on a phone, but the quality you're going to get on something like a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, or you're going to get on a Canon R5 or whatever they are, or the Sony A7S III, is far superior. And then you need the editing software. Then you need the audio software, like these mics. These are what? These are $3,000-4,000 to pop a mic. And then you got to have a desk, like a Rodecaster, which is $12,000. So in order to set yourself up with something like a good, let's just take this exactly where we're sitting right now. We've got 2 cameras. We've got 3 cameras, sorry. 2 microphones. You've got a Rodecaster. You got 3 guys behind. A production like
Very
this.
expensive.
Yeah. Production like this, $15K. Probably. As a production cost. But you're sitting here with 100,000 rands worth of equipment. To do a good quality podcast. If you want to do it properly. But I can change it all up, put 3 phones up here, put a boom mic into one of the phones. It's a different scenario. Is the quality worse or not? It depends. It depends on your platform, where you're pushing the content to, and what's your objective of the content. Lighting. It's all very, very important. Set design. You've got all of these things. All this plays a part in a production. So, getting into production is not a cheap thing. You've got to invest. But you can also be clever. We did it in the days. We were doing it on mobile phones. A lot of these phones now have got a dual where you can record and you'll see both. And there's my podcast. It looks like an Instagram feed. What's the difference? What's the difference of you and I sitting here or you phoning me and having the same conversation?
On Zoom.
Yeah. Or it's just Instagram Live.
There's a huge difference.
What? I'm asking you that question now because of the fact that what actually is the difference? We're having a conversation.
Yeah. So the reason why I say this is that...
and I'm agreeing with you,
yeah,
by the way. I'm playing devil's advocate for a moment because it's an important conversation to have, especially if you want to get into this game.
Definitely, because I've seen my analytics and I've seen what it does, right? And I've seen the attention span of the audience that I want to attract and the quality that I want to grow into, right?
And there, you answered your own question right there, quality. It's so important. And that's why I go back to, what is your objective? A lot of people just want to get views.
I don't care about views. I used to care about views.
But you saying the blueprint. What's the blueprint for production in this current state of the nation that we're sitting in right now in video production? The blueprint is people want to make money out of content. People want to be seen. They want to grow their Instagram numbers, their TikTok followers. It's all they care about because they think as influencers, they will make money out of their content through what? Through brand. But you're telling a very different story here. But again, you're talking about, why do you want to get into this game? Most people want to get in the game to make money.
Of course.
Or to be famous.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even about the money. It's just to be seen.
It's to be seen. It's to be famous. So it's kind of it's a proper chicken and egg situation. I believe in quality, which I can tell you do, and for me that is vital. But I used to have the same conversation with Greg, my old business partner. He used to say to me, Greg, no, we can shoot everything on a mobile phone. He's saying, no, Julian. He came from a television production background.
Of course.
He worked at SABC. And I'm going to shoot everything on mobile phone because it's quick, it's easy, and it's cheap. So where you were sitting at, and I remember in the heyday, something like top billing. I think it was about 16,000 rand a minute, if I'm not mistaken, and please forgive me if I'm wrong. About 16,000 rand a minute to produce. So you're looking at a 30-minute show, you do the numbers. My math's terrible. I was determined to bring that down to 1,000 rand a minute using digital devices to shoot content, or lower. Because that way, I could make more money out of my content. See, these are the kind of things that you need to start thinking about. When you create a video production suite like this that we have here, your cost's 100,000. How quick are you going to recoup that?
Oof.
Therefore, what's your cost of production to a client? That's what you've got to figure out next.
Let's talk about that. Clients, you have the best profile when it comes to corporate clients. Like you have,
I've worked with a lot.
Like you've worked with a lot, and you still have trust, the most trusted production house. Not most, but one of the most trusted.
There's a lot of great production houses out there.
But I'm just
no
saying,
doubt
with
about
you are my guest today, so I'm talking about you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So I want to know is it gonna take me another 35 years to have the type of portfolio that you have?
No, you know what I believe? For me, the most important thing in production is trust. Your client needs to trust you. And, there's a lot of production houses that say, you pay me 5 Rand an hour, I'll give you 5 Rand an hour. You pay me 5 Rand an hour, I'll give you 10 Rand an hour. And it's sometimes to my detriment. I always believe in going the extra mile for a client. And I suppose that's why I have longevity with a lot of my clients, because I'll go the extra mile. And it is important that, if it means I've got to do an extra graphic AV for them for this production or something like that to make sure the job is better, I'll do it. Even if it wasn't in the original brief of what I get from a client. I believe in going the extra mile. And just attention to detail.
Just name some of the biggest productions you have, and then just tell me how waffle smells like when you're done. Okay. How does it just smell?
That was fun. I got to admit, I was told not to wear my Coachella jersey today. I was going to wear it. I was saying, you've been wearing that thing since you got back from Coachella.
Coachella!
And I'm like, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
No, so, listen, that was an experience and a half. As a 55-year-old
by the way, guys,
man,
we're talking about Coachella. This is the
Uncle
man
Waff,
behind the production. And
we went to shot basically a documentary on waffles at Coachella.
Wow.
An exciting experience, very interesting experience, very different. I mean, but then again, yesterday really upset me. Last night, I got very upset.
Why?
Yeah, the whole world is going mad about Uncle Waffles at Coachella. Picked up my phone this morning. Do you know who was playing at Glastonbury last night?
No.
South African.
Who?
On the Afro stage?
Nope.
Toya de Lazy. Toya de Lazy.
Oh, okay.
Toya. Damn, why don't we know about this? Why are we not talking about
But Toya left South Africa.
Doesn't matter. Toya is South African through and through. There's nobody that is that. I
love the music.
I love her music.
Her
last album is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate for South Africanism, and that we need to promote ourselves as much as humanly possible. What I've been lucky enough to work with Black Coffee. We shot his Tiny Desk with a friend of mine, Lindo Langa, phenomenal young director. Probably a highlight of my career was that for me, that was my highlight. Shooting Black Coffee for Tiny Desk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was mind-blowing. Working with the likes of Msaki, etc., and Unarams and guys like that, and on that production specifically.
But how did you make the money? How much did Black Coffee pay you? Did you pay
that wasn't about being... There's certain things, it's not about the money.
Serious?
Yeah, there's certain things, it's not about the money. For example, obviously, as I mentioned to you earlier, we've built this little studio in Four Ways.
Of course.
Where we do our own version of Tiny Desk, where we basically I've created the space where musicians can come, feel at home, and we film them in a very Tiny Desk kind of vibe. It's called Afro Tales.
Okay.
And
YouTube.
I've also, YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Predominantly, but we are launching on Vodacom shortly. We're actually launching the whole platform onto Vodacom, where we're going to be showcasing it. But really, with the focus of it being a space for artists. So BCUC, I'm sure you must know BCUC.
Yes, of course.
Came into the studio and they did their Afro Tales, and the guys loved the space so much. They'd actually been recording at Am Studios the album, and they wanted a change in environment for the second half of the album because it was a very different sound. And they were like, can we just come back? I said, guys, you can have the studio. I'm not going to charge you. So, come. It's yours. Gave it to them for a week. They finished the album. That album is out now, which is unbelievable if you haven't heard it. It is an incredible piece of work. And we are BCUC right now, traveling the world, touring. And I always believe in giving back. I am
You're giving back to Black Coffee?
No, giving back to my industry.
Okay.
Giving back to the youth.
Because he doesn't need giving back.
No, he doesn't need it. But it's been an experience because the fact that I got to work with him when I say to people I've worked with Black Coffee, they take you a bit more serious than when
Of
you say,
course.
it's
So
an
the
advantage.
advantage.
To me. Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
There's an advantage. But, I am a person of privilege. I'm a white person in South Africa.
Nah.
I'm not.
But you worked very hard.
No, I worked very hard, but I've got to give back. It would be unfair of me not to give back, and especially to the youth. And a lot of the guys that are working on this production will know me, that I do work a lot with young up-and-coming artists, bands like the Julians, like Shameless, that I will sit and I'll help to nurture and I'll help find an opportunity for these bands to get signed or to get a music video. I was sitting with Lally Boy yesterday. Do you know Lally Boy?
Yeah, I do.
He's just about to drop a new album.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, have you got a music video? No. Why?
I don't know.
And I'm like, why are you not getting a music video for this? He says, I don't have budget, Jules. I said, forget budget. You phone me. I'm your brother. I will do you a music video.
But you know what? I've also given back, by the way. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. But anyway, I just want to find out from you, with the experience that you have. No one has taken you for a puss. Like seriously, some of us like.
No. Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
No. I've been
countless times, right?
Yeah. Oh no, listen.
And you never give up.
No. And you know what? Somebody will stab me in the back 1,000,000 times, and I'll keep going. And
Why?
I'll keep giving back. It's my nature. Because I am a giver. Unfortunately, it is. And you know what? It's not a bad thing, guys. It's not a bad thing to be a giver. And I know we've all got to be hard and,
No, but your mental.
I'm 55 years old and I still feel like I'm 30.
So the reason why I'm saying this is that I've invested in a lot of artists.
That's tough, eh?
It's tough.
It is.
It takes a knock on you.
Listen, my very first band was a band called Amersham that I managed. I gave my heart and my all, and then Sony BMG, or BMG Records as they were in those days, signed the boys, and I was dropped. And I had given my heart and soul to this band, and I was out. New manager, new record producer, everything, and I was left in the cold. And I swore I'd never manage a band again in my life. But here I am again now, 20 years later, working with Shameless, working with the Cooligans, working with Sia from The Brother Moves On, who I work with very, very closely. We've got a lot of projects that we're doing. We're about to launch our own, as Discover TV, we're about to launch our own indie festival where we're focusing on independent, getting back our independence as a community in the music and the arts and the film, and creating a platform for independent creators to come together and let's find ways. This is a very, very important thing, and it goes back about how do we monetize content, how do we go forward. We don't all have the answers. The one place I believe that is a good potential place to monetize content is the mobile networks, because I think our television broadcasters such as SABC, etc., are they going to exist in 5 years? Are we going to have a multi-choice in 5 years? What do you think?
DSTV is already seeing problems.
Is DSTV as we know it going to be here in 5 to 10 years' time?
Never that.
Is SABC as we know it going to be here in 2 years' time?
Because it's bad.
It's gone. It's finished. Where do 90% of anybody below 30 consume their content?
Mobile.
Only. 90% of them are only on mobile. I haven't had a DSTV account in 10
I don't even have
years.
TV.
There we go. I rest my case. So, how do we monetize? How do we take content? How do we create content for this new environment? I look at my son. He's 22 years old this year. I try and see what he's consuming. I try and understand his habits. I just don't get it. I don't know. And I always try to be at the forefront, so I've got to figure this out now. How are we going to monetize content? For any young person coming into this game right now that wants to get into video production, into content creation, dude, my advice, don't. No, do, obviously. I mean, obviously do.
We have to.
I mean, you've got to, because we need more video. We need more content creators. But how are you going to monetize it? I don't know. I don't know. We are trying to figure out the answers. We are trying to create an independent platform for these answers with the likes of Tabo. I'm working with Msaki, with Sia, with various other people that are coming on board for us to create what we've called it India Freak. with the concept of launching, South by Southwest.
Yes, of course.
I want South Africa South by Southwest. We need our own.
Of course.
We have to.
I've been talking about
So
having our own
come.
platforms.
This is what we want to do. So our plan is next year to launch India Freak
Yeah.
for Africa, not just South Africa,
But for Africa.
for Africa, because
By Africans.
yes, man, this is Africa. This is our time, and we've got to take control. And we've got to take control away from the multi-choices.
Yes.
Not that they're a bad thing, but we need to take control of our own futures. And the only way we can do is controlling our own independence. The record label of the future, I said this 20 years ago, they're not going to be what you know them as. What are record labels today? What?
Nothing.
They're marketing
They're
agencies.
ambitious.
They're marketing. Oh, let's not go to that conversation.
They're
Sure.
very
I don't think
ambitious.
that's the conversation we want to have.
Woo! Can I have you again? Because I know we are in the 50. Are we there? We still good. Okay. Yo, this is the first one. Can we have one more tequila?
Yeah.
Sorry. Is
Let's
there
do
one
this.
more? I'm in it. Thank you, sir.
Yes to the blueprint.
Woo.
I might have to have that lemon now. That is bitter.
That's bitter. It gets in, huh? Oof.
Yeah.
We still good, my boy. Okay. This is one of the most interesting topics that I've done in a very long time. If I go quiet, I'm learning.
No, and I'm learning. I'm learning from you. It's so important, and I think that's the one thing I can say to any young content creator, to anybody wanting to get into production, is learn. Learn, learn, learn. You are never too old to learn, and you can never stop learning. Because it doesn't matter what. I will learn something from today's discussion. No doubt about it. I'll walk away today, and tomorrow I'll sit there and I'll go like, damn, I never thought of it that way. Or, I need to change something as well, because we all do. We cannot sit on our laurels. You can never sit on your laurels, and you can never stop learning. And as long as you do that, you will achieve something.
Okay, so now in the years experience that you've had, made the money that you're having, and
Hey, listen,
being
still trying.
still trying.
We're still trying, man.
Serious.
Of course we are.
What's your net worth right now?
Mine, negative. Because I invest.
Yeah, all the rich people say that.
I'm not. No, listen, you know where my richness is? In knowledge. It's not in money.
So
And
you don't
I'm
value money?
comfortable. I value money for existence. I value money to survive. Yes, because, listen, my mother was where all my experience came in. And I saw my mom married to some of the wealthiest men in this country, to us having no money, to having just to survive. Money means nothing if you don't have love, and if you don't have commitment to yourself and to those around you. Money absolutely means nothing. And it's the one lesson I try and teach those that I'm with and everything, is that money is there to achieve an end. I make money so that I can build my business and I can grow what I do. I am really rich. I'm rich in so many other ways. Yes, we all say, oh, no. It sounds all like very, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. But I'm not financially. No, we're all struggling. Listen, this is not an easy time for anybody.
But go on.
No, it's not an easy time. Being in this production industry, I've watched so many companies go bust.
Right now, yeah. Because I think
COVID killed it.
COVID,
man.
I was about to say,
Killed
no,
it,
COVID
man.
did two things.
Funny enough,
Yeah, I
it
was about to
saved my
say,
business.
it saved me.
Saved me.
It saved my life.
Absolutely. Well, I nearly died from COVID.
Died health-wise.
No, health-wise. I nearly died.
Me too.
Yeah, I was on
Twice.
I was on oxygen machines and the whole trip. I mean, I went to go and see that Zambian doctor that was on carte blanche. The one, the pulmonologist.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I went to see him. He looked at me and he looked at my results and everything. He said, "How are you actually sitting here? You should not have survived. You should be dead." He said, the fact that I think my lung capacity was down to like 48% or something stupid. He said, "You should be dead." I'm like, well, I'm not. So I'm not going anywhere. Listen, COVID has killed so many companies. I've seen so many of my friends of mine lose their jobs and trying to survive. And it's not been an easy time.
if you don't
especially
capitalize,
in production.
yeah.
Especially in production.
I think you did very well in COVID because the people that were doing digital are killing it right now.
Yes
Like
and
in the
no,
three.
because now all of a sudden you got oversaturation. Remember we spoke about it?
Yeah, we did. But listen, the people that it was, because what was happening is that the type of videos that I was making was about making money online digitally, which is something that was not out there. And
Yeah.
then you would have a copycat of someone that just copies what I said on their videos, right?
Absolutely.
They didn't do the research. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? But where are they now? Because I'm not talking about apps and surveys anymore.
No.
So they can't copy another video. I'm now talking to people that have the blueprint about certain businesses and drop shipping, and not everybody wants to get into that, or e-commerce, you know? So what I'm saying is that it saved me because I thought entertainment had so much money,
No,
right?
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Doesn't. And listen, I get, you know how many CVs I get a day from young content creators? Please, Julian, can I come and intern? Can you help me? Can I get a job? I'm like, dude, I'd love to, but I don't have the funds to. I've got my team, and I've got a great team. And a lot of the guys have come out of, like, you know, starting out and everything like that, and we try and help them grow, and we will do everything in our power. Tabo is a massive, somebody you need to talk to is Tabo. He's an incredible...
I want to talk to you. Like,
No,
I
I'm
want
just
to
saying.
document, like, your life. I'm
like-
sorry, Julian, bro. Like, this is me. They know. When I'm this, like, poof, this is what you... I feel like you're, like, people behind the scenes, like yourself, you have so much stories to tell.
No,
like, you
listen,
have
I do.
books to write.
You know, I worked with Quincy Jones back in the 90s. He launched a platform called Q Radio. I worked with, you know, Kaifa Semenya?
Of course.
One of my mentors in my life. One of the most incredible human beings I've ever worked with and had the pleasure of working with in my life has been Kaifas. Kaifas headed up Q Radio for Quincy. We were basically selling South African CDs back in those days into the States via this thing called Q Radio. And that was an incredible experience. I've been very fortunate. I mean, I've worked on Madiba's birthday bash with Kaifas, to having worked on the World Cup for Sony, following around Freshly Ground and Shakira doing the backstory about that whole thing. You know, I was at MTV with Freshly Ground when they were first nominated for an MTV award. I've lived a good life. That's one thing I can.
So if you had to die today, you'd be like,
oh no, I'm content. I have a wonderful family. I have an incredible son, who's a musician, filmmaker. He's trying to get into both sides. He's young, and I sit and I'll say to him, "What do you want to do with your life?" I don't know. But name me any 22-year-old right now that
who
actually
says
knows
don't
what they
know?
want
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, exactly.
They don't,
Because it's
there's so
privilege.
much.
Mm.
No, because there's so much. You
It's
get
not privilege.
confused.
There's so much to do, and
We are privileged. I think the youth of today are privileged. They're privileged with technology.
of course,
We didn't have this. You know, we had television, radio. That was
that's it.
And CDs, well, tapes and vinyls back in those days. That's what I grew up on. When I wanted to record music, I put my radio on and I taped.
Yeah, I remember
taped
that.
The top 40.
Yeah.
Because that was my MP3 playlist.
Yeah.
And then I listened back to that during the week because that's what I wanted to listen to. Now it's just, everything's just at a touch of a button. So they're privileged from a technology perspective, that there's too many choices. Too many choices. It's gone chaotic. I mean, you look at the world today and it's like, there's war here, there's this there. It's like, it's if you had to sit down and actually try and fathom out where we are right now in 2023, it's a total mindfuck.
Last question for me, and then we shut it down. Everything you have achieved so far, and going back, looking at the mistakes, looking at the hurdles, looking at everything you've done in your life, would you change one thing, A, and B?
There was a meme.
What one thing? So A, B. What's next for you?
Okay, let's start with A, because it's so bizarre you asking me this question today. I was sitting on my phone, as we all do, going to bed last night or whatever, or it was this morning, I can't remember. And there was a meme. You're given two choices. To be a multimillionaire, if you go back in time, multimillionaire at 25, or at 10 years old, or the knowledge? What would you choose? Multimillionaire at 25, or all the knowledge you have today as a 10-year-old?
All the knowledge that I have as a 10-year-old.
Absolutely. More than the money. So would I change anything? Probably here or there. You know, I've made mistakes. We all do. And I've made the same mistakes at times as well. And a lot of it's due to the fact that a lot of people say to me, Julian, you're too nice. You're far too nice. You're too forgiving, or you will. And Tabo shouts at me, as does my
I need to meet
Daniela.
Tabo.
Yeah,
Tabo needs to come up here.
Yeah, no, you do. And he'll shout, Joel, stop it. Stop being so nice. Stop giving too much. You know, you've got to look after your family, which is my crew and my family that I have. Stop being so kind. And I'm like going, but I don't know any other way. Unfortunately, I just don't. This is what I do. So would I change anything? No, probably not. I'm at a point right now where I'm enjoying life more than I have ever. I'm doing things that I'm trying to write my first movie script. I've conceptualized my first movie idea that I'm working on, and I'm proud of that. I'm like, I've never thought I'd get into movie. Never, ever. This is something I never thought I'd ever do. And I'm like, I'm now with Latuka. He's helping me, our scriptwriter and one of our producers. He's helping me put together the whole storyboard and everything around it. And I'm like sitting like going, I'm going to make a movie.
Shoot.
Damn, I never thought I'd do that. I've shot my first music videos. I never thought I'd do that. You know, I was a muso. I'm now managing bands again for the first time. I'm now getting involved with bands from the ground up, and I'm loving it. Things I always promised myself I'd never do again, by the way. Never again will I do that. But I'm having so much fun. Am I rich? I'm rich in so many ways. Financially, no, I'm broke. Absolutely. Because I invest everything into my business. So yeah, broke.
All right, shout out to Tabo. Oh yes, of course I know Tabo.
Yeah, that's my business partner.
Thank you so much.
So and future? Was that the second part of the question?
Yes, the last
What's
part
the future?
is future. You'll put this up there?
Is to keep educating. And I think that's the best thing I can do, is give my knowledge back to others. I really want to keep doing that. And the future for me is, one, is we're building this concept of India Freak, which I'd love for you to get involved in.
Of course.
Because I'm all people that have knowledge, I believe, can give back to the future of where we're going. This country, Africa, everybody says to me, Julian, but you've got a European passport. Why don't you just go back to Europe? I've got one because my father was German. I've got a Europe. My son has an Italian passport. He lived in Italy for 13 years, but he's back here. He came back to South Africa because that's where he wants to be.
Beautiful country.
We have an incredible opportunity as Africans. There's a stream called This is Africa stream. I don't know if you know it on Instagram. Tabo actually put me onto it, and it talks about Africanism and the fact that, you know, everybody's going on about the fact that Ramaphosa and everybody went to try and stop the war in Ukraine and this, and Putin's going to come to South Africa and we're going to get banned by America and the Europeans are going to basically cut us off. Go for it. We are powerful. As a country, as a continent, Africa is powerful, and we can rise above anything that you throw at us. And we've proved it. Rwanda proved it. This country's proved it. The fact that it's not the Rainbow Nation. Forget the Rainbow Nation or the concept of it. We are still here. Yes, we have crime, we have everything, but we are still here, and we will fight for everything we have as South Africans and as Africans. Whether your skin color is white, green, purple, I don't care. We will fight for this country. And that's what we have. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this the greatest country in the world. And I do believe that with every fiber of my being that we will be that. And that's what I want for the future. I want us as content creators, as creatives, as musicians, as producers, as let's make the best content for Africa so we rise above everybody else. That's what I want for our future. Does that say it all?
Guys, give it a round of applause.
Does that sound out? No, but it's true.
What
it's
an
true.
amazing episode.
No, it's true.
What an amazing episode. This one must go to the highlights. If you guys don't get this to 20,000 views, something is wrong with you.
But we do. We need to do that. Don't you believe it?
Jesus.
Come on, man. Come, South Africans.
Can we have you again?
Anytime. But I'd like you to speak to the people that I work with because they are
Yeah,
incredible people.
let's get Tabo as well.
You know, like Tabo.
Yeah.
You know, another great person is John Savage.
Of course.
Who owns this incredible studio that we work in.
Shout out to John, by the way.
Who
Thank you
is
so much.
somebody-
We really appreciate you. And shout out to Slim. Shout out to
the whole
Sia.
team.
Shout out to the whole team. Dumi and everyone else. Shout out.
These
You
are
know
all
these
young,
the-
great creators, by the way. All these guys that are sitting behind the camera are guys I've worked with over time in the studio that are all incredibly talented and are all have got big futures. And let's all, these guys included Johns, the Tabos of the world.
Everybody.
We can only build this industry together, and that's the most important thing that we can do. And we have to build it together.
And we are done. Thank you so much. Don't forget to do the right thing. Thank you so much, my brother. We are done.
It's a pleasure, man.
Thank you.